the blood on my hands. Of not one but two, because she didn't stand a chance. And even though I always treated you better, you wanna be with her so bad, but now you're with her forever. Forever. Now she can be a close friend until the sun goes dark and the sea runs dry. You can thank me either way.
So the title was a combination of a lot of things. So the cover of it is a television, and I knew when we were making Between the Lines, which was the last non-EP single we put out in December, when we were looking at cover ideas, I stumbled across like a bunch of televisions, and I was like, oh, this is really cool, but I want to save it for something bigger. And I just really loved the concept of like the old kind of box TV. And the title track, which is actually a ballad, is a track that I didn't want to do. I really like was struggling to do it, and I ended up, just being lucky to come up with a title that also like correlated pretty well with the visual theme that we had. And I was like, well, I guess this is what it's going to be. And it was very fast. So the writing process was something I was kind of doing for a while. There were, there's 6 songs on the EP, but there was about 15 tracks in consideration for those slots. And a lot of those consideration tracks were songs that I wrote, months ago, a year ago, that I was just trying to pull from a vault and see. But I actually ended up writing most of them within a 3 or 4 week time frame. When I talked to my producers originally, I was like, I want it done in 3 weeks. And we got it done. It was really hectic, but I originally wanted it to come out in April, even though it came out in May. And that was a big reason for the 3-week time frame. But I don't regret it. It was really cool to see that I was able to work on something that quickly. It was more difficult in terms of, I think, finding the genre for each of those songs. So a lot of my sound is pop punk, and that's just because it's music I love to listen to. I'm a big fan of it, and so it's fun for me to do. And I was really opposed to doing a ballad, and I was really like weary of doing an alternative song like Corpse Bride. And Corpse Bride was originally supposed to be really different, and it ended up the way it did. And having to be like, okay, these are the 2 that are kind of out of the box. I think that was the harder part more than anything, which was interesting. All right, yeah, I do. My favorite song from it is Wish I Had Friends. It's a song that is very, very personal to me. It's a very vulnerable song. For as much as it's upbeat and kind of fun to hear, it is, I would argue just as vulnerable or even more vulnerable than, Just for Show is. It's, something that everybody goes through, and I think that everybody can relate to one point in time, like of having issues with friends or a group of friends. And it was just a really fun way for me to be able to express that. So it's definitely my favorite. Okay, this is really weird, but I always love to say that I started songwriting at the age 9. And I say 9 because when I was in school, the easiest way for me to like convey this is when you're a kid in school and you're not paying attention, you don't want to pay attention, you're either like doodling in a notebook or you're passing notes or you're throwing stuff across the room. I was writing little songs in my notebooks, and I completely forgot about them for a very long period of time. But my mom actually ended up finding a couple notebooks like a couple months ago and was like, are these songs in here? And I was literally like 9 or 10 years old, and I was like, oh, I guess they were. But I started to write at age 9. I started to seriously write around 14, 15, and then I started to record my freshman year of college when I was 18. So I just turned 20 about 2 weeks ago. So no. I never did any type of singing lesson. I never did theater. I did acting a lot as a kid, and I took acting classes for such a long just portion, like era of my life, and it like became a big portion of my life. But even even throughout that time, I was always doing some type of singing just in the corner, something like that. And um, I was asked to do a lot of musical theater, just acting as a kid. And I can admire musical theater a lot. I think it's cool to watch, but I don't think I'd be good at it. Um, so I never did it, but I love it. For as much as, there's a lot of talk about it, I think it's a super cool city to be growing up in. Obviously, New York and LA are very big musical cities, but Cleveland is too. I mean, Cleveland has the Rock Hall. That's a big thing. And, there's just a lot of small Cleveland artists that I will see on my timelines or that I'll meet or I'll be like, "Oh, hey, like it's so nice to see you." It is a very tight-knit community of people. If you're from Cleveland, you're gonna know. A devious dog lady for sure. I'm not a big cat person. I would love to say that I am, but I'm not. I've had dogs all my life, so oh god. I mean, if I'm not making music, I'm doing something else for it. I'm promoting it. I'm in a meeting. I'm on a call for it. I'm, posting on social medias, TikTok, Instagram, all that stuff. I'm writing. It's a consistent day job. I'm always, hanging out with my friends whenever I can get the chance. But even then, there will be so many times where I'm at other people's houses hanging out with them, and I'll like bring my computer and I'll bring stuff because I'm like, I'm gonna have to send these emails, so I'm gonna have to do it. And it's a never ending thing, but I love it. So I can't complain. Life advice. Okay. Life advice may be tricky considering I'm only 20. But I don't know. I would say probably to never throw anything away. Especially being an artist and being like a creative. I think if you're ever in that lane, like to never disregard anything and never throw it away. There are so many songs or lyrics that I've written down or just things of that nature that I may have written, 3 years ago, and I'll find it in a Google Doc and I'll come back to it. And I think it's really helpful to be able to see, growth from that time or different feelings and perspectives from that time versus now. And yeah, I think it's beneficial. I'm very strategic. I pay attention to every detail. I I love Taylor Swift, and she's a very big proponent of that. She's a very big planner and she's a very big attention to detail person. And I think not even from just her, but from a bunch of really talented other artists I've been able to kind of watch over the years and, be like, oh, that's cool. Oh, I like this connection. Oh, I like this Easter egg. Um, and so I think, if you see a TikTok, you see a caption, you see an Instagram story post, you see anything of that nature, and it may just look like a same old thing, there's probably something behind it. um, so yeah, I guess to keep an eye out for those things. I actually did a podcast with some friends about a couple months ago, and I was able to go through a lot of the Easter eggs in the songs, and so it's if you are really intent, you can catch them, it's super cool. It's super fun for me to do. This is hard. There's so many, just because it's like, why wouldn't you collaborate with these people? I love Jaden Hossler. I love Machine Gun Kelly. I mean, you're from Cleveland. A lot of people love him. I love him. I'd love to collaborate him. He just seems like such a fun energy to work with. And yeah, this is a curveball, but I've always said Khalid. I'm a very big Khalid fan, and just the way that, he writes in his vocal tone, and he just seems so fun to kind of hang out with. So yeah, definitely those three. I'm gonna hopefully a lot of places. Music is my favorite thing in the world, and I will always be making music, whether it's in the writing sense or the recording sense or anything. Like, I will just always be doing that. So hopefully, still an artist and a lot bigger in growth than I am now. But I don't know. Not as of now. Possibly in the future, though, as things get bigger, as more things come out, as production gets bigger. Definitely, I definitely want to make a music video. I feel like that'd be really fun to do, and it's just another creative outlet. But as of this very moment, I don't have one planned. I think it would have to be Corpse Bride just because it's such a visual song, and I know that everybody would want it. I get a lot of comments on Corpse Bride every day. People love it, which was terrifying to me because I didn't think people were going to. But yeah, probably Corpse Bride because it's so visual. There's gonna be like ratios of males to females in the industry. Every producer I've ever worked with has been a male. You know, a lot of my management is a male. A lot of A&Rs, a lot of writers, a lot of playlist curators, a lot of like everything, anybody in production, a lot of them are males. So it's definitely something to get used to, but I think as long as you can, hold your ground and stay, true to your ideas and true to everything, as of right now, I think you should be okay. Live anywhere in the world. Okay. I love Cleveland. So not Cleveland. I've said New York or LA, but my depiction with that is I hate the heat. So probably leaning towards New York, and if not in the States, definitely somewhere in Italy is gonna be. I am Italian. I took Italian, the language, for about 6 years. I speak it a little bit. I don't want to call it fluent because I don't practice all the time. But my grandparents, they've been to Italy and they love it. They're like, we need to go back, we need to go see all these things. And yeah, but I love it. It's Italy. I mean, it's so funny that you say that. My management actually actually texted me this morning and was like, you need to get on Threads. And I go, what? My response was, what the hell is that? I had no idea what it was, and he was like, it's like Instagram, Twitter, go do it. And I was like, okay. I literally signed up like a couple hours ago, but it seems kind of cool. I don't know. I'm not a big Twitter user. Like, I've never posted on Twitter a day in my life, but I've had the app since like 2015. Like, I'm just one of those people at it. I love Twitter for like just, I don't know, Twitter culture of like the memes and all that stuff. Yeah, my two producers here at home are my absolute favorite people to work with. My main producer, his name is Ben. He is so good at his job. Like it sounds kind of stupid to say, but he is so incredibly talented when it comes to production. And production is a very, very difficult skill. It really does take a trained ear to really get things right. And there's so many times where he'll hear stuff that I don't, or I'll come to him and I'll be like, I want this, but I don't like this, and I like this, but I can't figure it out. And within like 6 minutes, he'll come to me and he'll be like, this is what you want, and he'll show it to me, and it's correct. And then my other producer who does my guitars for me, his name is Tyler. He is absolutely awesome. He is so talented on guitar, and I don't play guitar, so I'm thoroughly impressed by anything he does. But anytime I bring him a reference, or I bring him a simple melody that I recorded in like a voice notes or anything like that, he'll be like, yeah, I can do that. And he'll just do it and be like, here you go. I have a very small fan base. This sounds really, really cliche, and I know it's going to coming out of my mouth, but I love touching base with fans. It is my favorite activity on the planet. Like a couple of months ago, I got a DM from a fan in the UK, which is wild. I've never been there. I've never even stepped foot like out of the country. And this lovely, lovely fan DM'd me and was like, please never stop making music. Like, I don't know if you're going to see this or whatever. And I was like, oh my God. Because I do see everything. I'm small. I do see everything. And it's really unconventional, but I love to reach out to them and say thank you. It's my favorite thing on the planet. Like, if it's through Instagram DM or it's through a reply comment or even email. I've reached out through email like twice if they have their email linked. Like, I love it. So definitely that, and definitely just the idea of I love it, and it's my favorite creative process there is, and it's it's something that I'll never give up, so okay, I have a good one. I was I'm in college as well, which is really, again, kind of unconventional. Being an artist, you don't necessarily see a lot of artists that are in school or still in school. I'm a full-time college student as well. And my major now is communications with a minor in music business, which is so fun for me. And my major going into college was actually biology. I love bio. I love science. My dad is a doctor, so all that medical stuff, just I'm very lucky that it comes kind of easy to me. I took, AP bio in high school. I was a TA in high school. I helped teach. Like it consumed a lot of my life, and I was like, oh my God, this is gonna be so fun. And then when I went into college, I was like, well, I'm gonna have to pick between bio and music because they're both really time consuming in like kind of any form. And I love bio so much, but I'm very happy that I chose music. But yeah, if anybody needs a bio TA, let me know. I think I would have been a teacher. Not to like younger kids. I always said that I would want to teach college and do college like professor type of things. As much as the medical field is really interesting to me, I don't think I do well in it just because I'm very like not squeamish by any means, but I don't know. I don't like everything. And I'm not that big on research or like data things. So, but I love teaching. Regardless of what the topic is, I love teaching other people. So it probably would have been that. Interviews. I love doing little interviews. I very rarely get to talk about like the process of things and how stuff kind of works. So I love it. I love it.
Over, it's 2 a.m. and I don't understand how I'm alone.